How can you not forget Albert Pujols hitting 2 bombs to get to 700 in Dodger Stadium, a team that he played for in the previous year? How do you not forget Patrick Mahomes and fucking Josh Allen going at it, scoring 3 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes of the game, going to overtime? Patrick Mahomes finishes it. So many memorable moments in 2022.
Top five.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to the second episode of The Countdown, where we're ranking the top 5 most memorable moments of the 2022 year.
Ooh, I like that, man. The motherfucking countdown. Welcome to PSO's premiere show, where we'll be breaking down various different topics into a ranking. So throughout the show, we'll be counting down. Who knows, in the future, maybe your favorite athlete will be making their own ranking and coming on the show and counting down. But most importantly, don't forget to leave some comments and provide your own personal rankings to compare to what we got.
Exactly. We'll get to that later, but we got to start somewhere. So we're starting out with number 5 of the most memorable moments of 2022. And of course, we're starting out with the machine himself, hitting home run number 700, a milestone home run. And obviously, we're here to rank the top moments of 2022. But this one really captured his overall greatness throughout his career. Yeah. Pretty much from 2001 to 2010, just completely dominated in every facet, was clearly the best player throughout that decade, and then didn't have as much success once he signed that big contract with LA, but continued to put up home run after home run, and eventually got him in the exclusive 700 home run club, where he's now with Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds, Babe Ruth, and of course, Albert Pujols.
Yeah. One of the key things that you said was 2001 through 2010. And we see people on the list like Barry Bonds at number 1, the Mark McGuires, the Alex Rodriguez's. And the thing about Barry Bonds, when we were 11 years old, that's when he retired. That was the last year of his career. And it's great to see players like Albert Pujols really kind of start their career with us growing up. Because, he's retiring when we're 26 years old. And to see him go from 0 home runs to 703 is just magical. And for him to start with the Cardinals, circle all the way back to the Cardinals, and do it against the Dodgers, who he played for the previous year, is just awesome. So shout out Albert Pujols, hitting 2 home runs at Dodger Stadium to get to that number 700.
And even the away crowd was going crazy for that one.
Going bonkers. And number 4, we got the Patriots-Raiders last play of the game, where Jakobi Meyers throws the ball right to Chandler Jones, who stiff arms the fuck out of Mac Jones, runs it to the end zone, walk off in Vegas. And there's so many storylines that's tied to the Raiders and the Patriots. You got to think about when the Patriots won their first Super Bowl in 2001. It came off the tuck rule, which is obviously not a rule anymore. When you try to fake throw and tuck it and it gets fumbled, this, that, and the third. And when you think about it, the Raiders obviously lost to the Patriots, I think, in the wild card that year. The Raiders lost in the Super Bowl next year and have never been back to the Super Bowl, haven't had much success at all. And you think about the Patriots, after the tuck rule play, they go on to win the Super Bowl, and they win 2 more Super Bowls in the next 3 years. So it's really just magnificent that a wild-ass play like this would happen between the Raiders and the Patriots. You think of Chandler Jones, drafted by the Patriots. At the beginning of the play, Chandler Jones is stiff-armed by Jacobs, comes back around Jakobi Meyers, throws it as a receiver to the quarterback, which is backwards as fuck. It gets intercepted. Quarterback gets stiff-armed. It's just all over the place, bro.
Yeah, no disrespect to Jakobi Meyers, but he might be an idiot. It's all good. We can be idiots too. Maybe we don't throw a lateral to the other team during a tie game with no seconds left that single-handedly loses us the game. Yeah. But we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. He probably wants that one back. But I don't know what the hell he was thinking, Brand. I'm not going to lie. Like, when you're in that situation, you just can't allow that to happen. Exactly. And it was just so off. Like, it wasn't even close to Mac Jones. It was directly to Chandler Jones, who, like you mentioned, got stiff-armed by Ramondre Stevenson to start the play. Yeah. And then he's the one that ends up making the play against his own team, or his old team, that he, was a great player for so many years. And just the moment that it happened in to end the game like that, it's going to be one of those moments like the Miami Miracle, like the butt fumble that, I guess we'll call it the losing lateral. I don't know, but it's definitely going to be a memorable moment for years to come, and was clearly one of the most memorable moments of 2022.
Absolutely.
And so moving on to number 3, we move on to the basketball court, where one of the greatest players ever had one of his greatest performances ever in Game 4 of the NBA Finals with Steph Curry, as you just saw, cooking up the Celtics in that crucial Game 4. And this was such a monumental situation because Boston was up 2-1 on the cusp of taking a 3-1 lead, which pretty much is over. unless you are the 2016 Warriors where Draymond gets suspended, but that's another story for another day. But Steph Curry, he has the championships. He has the MVPs. He has the scoring titles, the three-point records. The one thing he was missing from his resume was that finals MVP. Yep. And this was the moment where he proved he can not only be the best player on the best team that wins the championship, but he can carry a team to win a championship. And that's exactly what he did in 2022. And that's exactly what he did in this moment.
Yeah, man. I mean, the Boston Celtics have not made it to a finals at that point in over a decade, which is something that hasn't happened very often in Boston Celtics history. And on top of that, they were up 2-1 at the Garden. And then Steph just explodes for, 46 points, hitting step-back threes, was hitting threes that he was getting undercut. They weren't calling fouls. I mean, Steph was literally just a different animal. And a lot of the times when you see Steph go off and hit big shots, it's usually calm, cool, and collective, step back, slow, just hitting it in your mouth. But you saw a sense of urgency from the get-go from Steph Curry that this is my moment to finally win my first finals MVP. And, man, did he come through. Obviously, the Warriors closed it out, won the next 2 games, and they were your 2022 NBA champions.
Yeah, he knew he had to go off in that game, and boy, did he.
Sure did. And on to number 2. Antonio Brown leaves the field. I think it was the second to last game. The Buccaneers had a chance to be the number 1 seed in the NFC at this point, and he stormed off against the Jets. They were down like 14 points when he did it, and there was a lot of things leading up to this. You know, AB wound up getting on the team mainly because of Tom Brady, but Antonio Brown was hurt for a significant portion of that season, and there is one thing that winded up coming out of this. Bruce Arians was no longer the coach of the Buccaneers going into the next season.
Tom Brady fucking retired.
Yeah, Tom Brady retired, wound up coming back. But there was something about Bruce Arians. Obviously, AB and Bruce Arians weren't on the same page. There was an injury to Chris Godwin. He torn his ACL. So, I mean, they really needed AB, and it was a big point in the season. They were chasing the 1 seed, and AB was too hurt to play, stormed off the field, made a big fiasco about it. But at the same time, there were some complaints at the end of the year by Buccaneers players about Bruce Arians and some of his tactics. I think earlier in that year, he kind of pushed the player and swung on the player. I think it was Andrew Adams, as a matter of fact. So it's AB, but it's also some Bruce Arians, and obviously both of them are not coaching or playing in the league right now. I think Bruce Arians is an advisor for the Bucs or something, but you know, there's obviously peels and layers to the whole thing that went down, but it's clearly unforgettable.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned Bruce Arians' part in the whole thing because it kind of goes under the radar because what AB did was lunatic. Like, that's something a lunatic would do. Yeah. Literally, you hear the announcer talking about how in 30 years of football, he's never seen anything like that. And I think that's what makes this moment so memorable is how chaotic it was, but also the fact that it was AB. Like, if this is Andrew Adams or some practice squad player or something like that, this isn't going to get that much attention. But the fact that we're talking about a Hall of Fame caliber player, if you look at the stats, you look at the records, you look at the accolades, Antonio Brown should be wearing a gold jacket one day.
No question.
But he might not be because of antics like this, because of the arrest, because of the antics, and because of just all the selfishness that he's displayed throughout his career. And you saw it kind of culminate into this moment that it's probably going to be the last time we ever see him on an NFL field. And it's why it was one of the most memorable moments of 2022 to pretty much start off 2022. I believe it was January 2nd. Right out the gate, we knew 2022 was going to be something else. And that's thanks to AB. So moving on to number 1 of the countdown for the most memorable moment of 2022. What else?
Bills Chiefs, man.
Arguably the greatest game of all time in the divisional round. What a game, man. You had 2 of the greatest quarterbacks of this generation, might end up going down as 2 of the greatest of all time. And I think we can say this game had the best quarterback play from both sides, especially at the end when literally in the final 2 minutes, it was touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. After field goal with 13 seconds left. I mean, it was just an insane game. The back and forth, the roller coasters, the big plays from Davis and Tyreek and Kelsey and Mahomes and Allen, and the whole thing just made this game so exciting. And it was during a memorable weekend overall with all 4 games coming down to the wire. Amazing for every NFL fan to enjoy. But that game was something else and something we'll probably remember for the rest of our lives.
I mean, what was it? 3 touchdowns and a field goal in the final 2 minutes of the game, I believe it was. Tyreek almost cribbed the punt with like 9 minutes left in the game. The Bills ended up getting a stop and forcing a field goal. But, I mean, so many touchdowns, so many big plays. Gabe Davis, 4 touchdowns. In the drive where the Bills scored with 2 minutes left, Josh Allen converted a 4th and 4. He converted a 4th and 13 for another Gabe Davis touchdown. And then went and got the 2-point conversion in the back of the end zone. So, I mean, just the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of this game. These teams also played in the previous year in the playoffs. The Chiefs wanted to win it by 14, I believe.
Yeah, that one wasn't as good.
Yeah, it wasn't half as good as this one. But, I mean, these are 2 of the best teams in the NFL. Honestly, these are 2 teams that everybody might have even wanted to see in the Super Bowl play against each other. Obviously, they're both in the AFC, so it's not possible. But, I mean, just one of the greatest games of all time. And it's just great to see it's between 2 legendary, transcendent franchise quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Like, if you looked at the Vegas odds, those were 2 teams that were probably at the top or damn sure near it. Mm-hmm. And it literally came down to the absolute wire in every way possible. Just the climax was something that, was special. And that's why it's the most memorable moment of 2022. And that's why all these moments were part of this list for the countdown for the most memorable moments of 2022.
The most memorable moments. I mean, the biggest moments, the things that you're not going to forget. Like, how can you forget AB ripping off his jersey and running off the field in a regular season game? How can you not forget Albert Pujols hitting 2 bombs to get to 700 in Dodger Stadium, a team that he played for in the previous year? How do you not forget Patrick Mahomes and fucking Josh Allen going at it, scoring 3 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes of the game, going to overtime? Patrick Mahomes finishes it. So many memorable moments in 2022. And, Rob, I can't wait to see what 2023 brings.
Absolutely. We got a great year in store. And speaking of store, you can buy the great jerseys like these at fangearnation.com. They are our featured sponsor. We do have a potential opening for a beer sponsor, for sponsors in the background. We're all business here. But, hey, great show, great countdown, most memorable moments of 2022 in the books. We're looking forward to 2023.
Looking forward to it. Leave your countdown in the comments. Let's go.